talking to this guy and I said, let's go for a wine. And he's like, look, April, I'm not meant to be drinking, but you know what? I'll give it up for you. I'll have a wine with you. And I'm like, brilliant, let's do it. And then he proceeds to say, tonight's the perfect night for a wine and a movie at home. For yourself, mate. I'm not coming. I'm not coming over. I don't know you from a bar of fucking soap. I don't understand when we forgot to even at least pretend to give a fuck about having a conversation first before we get down to the nitty gritty. There is some, like, I'm not coming over when I don't even know who you are. I don't even know your last name. It's not even on your profile. You want me to come over and watch a movie like we're fucking best friends? Sorry, bro. Ask the next girl.
He didn't waste time. He didn't waste energy. No fear, no worrying. Just get to what he wants, right? And it's funny that this is the guy that she's talking about, because don't get it confused. There's plenty of guys that want to have a conversation with her. She ain't worried about them. At least not enough to mention those guys. You know what I'm saying? He got straight directly to the point. No having conversations and trying to figure out what's your favorite color and if you like Tuesdays or Thursdays, and none of this nonsense. None of it. Let's get the next one.
Dating as a strong, independent woman who's also a baby girl is literally fucking impossible. And I'm talking like it's a lose-lose situation, because any man that meets you is gonna see you in strong, independent woman mode and be attracted to that. But then when it comes to relationships, you're just a baby girl. Do you see how the math is not mathing? Because the absolute second that man who was attracted to the strong, independent woman sees you in baby girl mode, he's gonna fucking run. But then if you meet a man when you're in baby girl mode and it comes time to getting shit fucking done and you turn into a fucking corporate thug, he's not gonna like that shit either. So it's a fucking lose-lose. At this point, I'm starting to think that maybe I need two boyfriends. One for strong independent mode and the other one for baby girl mode. And I cannot be the only one who's experiencing this. So all my strong independent women who are also baby girls, let me know your thoughts.
This whole strong and independent thing is a parasite, and it's eating away at women's ability to see things for what they truly are. If you don't need a relationship, you would just want a relationship, then you're good. You're independent, you're good. It shouldn't affect you that much to get on camera and talk about it. It really shouldn't. And if you're independent of men, right? Isn't it funny how when we shop for things, smart people shop for what they need. They understand a want is just a want, but they're good in life because they get what they need. So if you don't need a man, what's the problem? Or do you need a man? You're just not shopping for a man that wants you. Women can shop for men that they're not really that crazy about, but it makes it harder to shop for a man that they need, because now it becomes 10 times harder because they're constantly comparing you to other men that they have no access to. This is the funny part about it. Women are always comparing men to higher status men that they have no access to. This is why they're like a dog chasing their tail. How are you comparing him to something that you never had before? Oh, I want a provider. I want this type of guy. You've never had that type of guy before, because if you did, check this out, right? I always talk about types. People are delusional. This person's my type. All right, well, go talk to him. I don't know. What don't you know? It's your type. That's what you're used to getting time and time again. Oh, no, it's what you would want, but it's not your type. So if you're strong and independent, stay over there. The price to pay to be with this chick is your sanity. Guys ain't dealing with it. Let's get the next one.
I paid for me and a guy's first date the other night. So let's get into the story. It was our first date. We were meeting for a drink at a bar, casual. I got there first. When I ordered my drink, the waitress needed a card to start the tab. So I gave her mine. He wasn't there yet. He shows up, he orders a beer. We have 2 drinks each. It was fine. Like, I don't think I would have seen him again. I maybe would have given him a second date if this whole fiasco hadn't happened. But when it was time for the bill, the waitress came back over and was like, okay, like, are you ready? Should I charge the card that I have on file, or do you want to put it on another one? And I look at this man. I'm like, okay, this is your chance. Like, you know, you obviously haven't touched your wallet. You know it has to be my card because you didn't put down a card at the beginning. He doesn't say anything. This man's not moving towards his wallet. He's not like, oh, even if we were going to split the bill, he needed to be like actively reaching for his wallet. But no. So the waitress is just standing there waiting for an answer. And so I'm like, all right, this guy's obviously not going to do anything. I look at her, I go, sure, yeah, charge the card. This guy looks at me, he goes, you sure? I was like, no, I'm not sure, but I'm not going to make this poor waitress so uncomfortable by being like, yeah, should we just split the bill? Should you pick up the bill? I don't know. You're the guy. Maybe that's not a thing anymore, but to me, I just feel like the guy gets the first date, especially if he's asking me out. As I'm like putting in my like 20% or whatever, he's like, I'll Venmo you. And I was like, yeah, you probably should. So he walks me to my car, I give him a hug, and he's like, text me when you get home. I'm like, I'm gonna have to text this guy because like he owes me money. Like it was $60. He can Venmo me 30, like great, we'll call it even. I never have to see him again. So anyways, I text him I'm home. He's like, great. The next day, he hints at a second date, and then the next day I respond and I was like, yeah, like that place is great. Like we were talking about a live music venue. And then I sent him my username for Venmo. It has my first and last name. He didn't have it before. We met on Hinge. What does this man do? He doesn't go to my Venmo and send me the $30 he owes me. No, he takes my first and last name and follows me on Instagram. I mean, I have never been more shocked and appalled in my entire life. I was like, okay. So he's still texting me. The date was on a Monday. By Thursday, I'm like, all right, this man hasn't Venmoed me. And also when I sent my Venmo username, he was like, oh, I'll Venmo. And I hearted it. And then he continued on with the conversation like normal, but like he never sent me the Venmo. So by Thursday, I'm like, I just want my money. I don't want to talk to this guy. It's a matter of principle. He's already told me twice he's going to Venmo and he hasn't. And he's followed me on Instagram using my last name. So anyways, I have to text him again on Thursday after being like, yeah, my week's going great. By the way, don't forget the Venmo. And he liked it. He didn't heart it. He liked it. And then about an hour later, he finally sent. To be fair, he sent the full 60, which is great. He covered it. There was so much opportunity for this man to have covered it, either on the date or like as he's walking to my car, be like, hey, what's your Venmo? Like, or the first time I sent him my username, he could have just sent me the money. And he did ask me on a second date. I kind of naively was like, oh, maybe I'll give him a second chance. I don't know. Like he sent the full 60. And then he invited himself over to my place for a wine night. And I said, I'm so sorry, this isn't gonna work, sir.
This guy is hilarious. He didn't flinch when she was paying for the drinks. He goes, are you sure? Now, I know guys are gonna get into their feelings and think, you know, well, I would have paid, or a man's job is to pay and all of this stuff. We're not here for all of that. You understand? But she wanted him to Venmo her the money, which he eventually did. But at the end of this story, it just proves that nothing matters. She wasn't that interested in him. Women will open their wallet when they're interested in you anyway. So would it have made a difference if he paid for the drinks or not? No. Does she like you or not? As a matter of fact, they're always talking about guys don't put in effort. Watch this. I'm telling you, bro, like nothing matters. You could do dates, you could do flowers, you could bring her around your family, you could introduce her to your friends, you can make shrines, write poems and love notes and really talk about family and wanting a big family in the future, and nothing matters unless she wants you. Let's get the next one.
Dating gets harder as you get older because, like, you're not going to keep telling me no. And I don't mean that in the, my daddy would never tell me no, because my father is dead. And, like, may he rest in peace. But when he was alive, he was no Daddy Warbucks. What I mean by that is like, I'm 30 years old. I'm a grown adult. I've lived independently for many years. So why are you, a strange man who I've known for 2 weeks, gonna start telling me no? I say, oh, I want to check out this new restaurant because I've been wanting to go there for a few weeks. You say, no, we've been out to eat a lot this week. I say, oh, I want to go to Boston for whatever reason. It really doesn't matter. And you say, no, I can't afford the time off of work. You only have so many times to tell me no, because quite frankly, if you weren't around, I would already be at that restaurant. I would already be in Boston. So because you're here, I now don't get to go because I was dating this guy and I'd be like, oh, I really want to do X, Y, Z. And he would be like, oh, no, we can't because of whatever reason. And I'd be like, we can't, but I can. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be hurtful, but like, there is me and then there is what I want over here. The only obstacle in the way is you. And that's why dating is hard as you get older. Because I was like, I have the life that I want. You have to add to that. Because like, if I start dating you and you start taking away from my current life, no.
I'm 30 years old and I've lived independently for a while now, right? But that's what you're supposed to do. Men aren't telling you that you can't do these things. Men are telling you that you're not going to spend his money in order to do these things.